Welcome, everyone, to episode 118 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, should we be leaving this game?
Well, we got to talk about it before that, at least.
That's right. This episode, we're going to be talking about Before We Leave by Balancing Monkey Games. That's a pretty interesting name.
Yeah. What are they balancing on? Why are they balancing? So many questions.
No idea. But
we won't answer those here.
No, sorry. The developers, if they want to come on the show, which we've done interviews for, hey, so if you want to come on the show, please let us know. This game, though, came out back in November of 2021. As usual, I played this on the PC. It was a meager 949.98 megabytes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So small.
So small. What about you, Tom?
Well, I played this on the Xbox, but not the Xbox you think I played it on.
Uh-oh.
This was on the Series S.
Whoa, Tom did an upgrade.
I did. Unfortunately, this game is still so much bigger on the Xbox. So it wasn't that. It wasn't that I was on the Xbox One S. That wasn't the answer.
No.
Because on the Series S, it is 1.4 gigabytes.
Okay. Was there a cloud option at all, or that was it?
I don't recall.
All right. Well, that's fine. But how about recalling what kind of game it is?
I put that it is a civilization simulation.
Oh, yeah. I just put Sim World, which I guess was kind of like that. But I mean, I haven't really played a civilization game, so I don't really know how they play, but I'm sure it's similar.
When I meant civilization simulation, I mean you're simulating a civilization.
Oh, okay, not the game.
Yes,
it's just simulating a civilization. Okay, fair enough.
Right, because you're in charge of this society that's becoming, more substantial as you play through the game.
Yeah, absolutely. What is that game loop, though?
Yeah, speaking of, in order to do those things, collect resources to build structures so you can research ways to collect more resources.
Yeah. I just wrote, look at charts and see how much you disappoint your people.
Yeah, there is a measure of Excel in there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So many charts. But let's get into what we liked about this game.
I appreciated that the tutorial lived there in the start screen and was something that you could pick, to do or not to do. So if you've played a lot of simulation games and you don't want to do that, you don't have to.
Right.
And if you are like me, you probably will want to do that. I like that it was kind of slow and very thorough.
Yeah.
But that you can skip it if you didn't want to do it. So
Right. It's true. It was definitely a very extensive tutorial. And this game has a lot of information that we kind of already talked about that you have to manage, a lot of resource management and a lot of people management too, because, you have to make sure that they're happy and you've got to, please, I don't know. In a way, it was like kind of like Black and White to me, but like the game Black and White.
No. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It had some Peter Molyneux in there.
A little bit. And I thought it was a pretty decent looking game too. Again, considering that this was under a gigabyte of space on my computer, it looked pretty good for what it was. And I thought it was like the little characters looked like the knockoff Lego, the Playmobil things, looked like them. And, I thought that was good. That was cool. And what else did you like about this game, Tom?
I want to agree with you. Simple visual design goes a long way, especially in a game like this that's very mechanics heavy. Right. The game is not about how it looks; it's about how it plays.
Yep.
So this serves the mechanics of the game well. The simple visual style. Likewise, I think the music was simple but fun.
Yeah.
It gave me like very like medieval, very like Celtic kind of
Yeah.
vibes to it.
Absolutely.
Which again serves very much the game that you're playing.
Yeah. I don't know if you actually progress through time like
Hmm.
like Civilization. I mean, we only played the hour, but I mean, you do in a way. Like you can speed up and slow down time.
Yep.
To see, like, you know, if you're just waiting on like a resource or like a research station to finish up something, you can do that, which is nice. I thought that's a nice feature too. I agree with you with the music, and I'm glad you gave it a good uh, a good way to describe the kind of music, because I was like, it was like happy go lucky, but I was like, well, yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, it does sound medieval or Celtic, but yeah, absolutely. And I also liked how they did a pretty good job with the audio overall, because like when you're zoomed out completely, which you can zoom all the way out, and you hear it's like ambient noise depending on how far or close you are to your village. And as you get closer, you get to hear people start to like the chatter, the, you know, people like making stuff, and it was pretty cool. I thought that was a neat little thing that they did. So
Yeah, it was all very like relevant to what you were witnessing. You
right,
know, if they were chopping wood, you heard the chopping sounds. If
yep,
they were mining, you heard the mining sounds. If you were by some lava flow or something, you heard bubbling sounds. Like
yeah,
it all made sense based on the environment and what you were looking at. So
right. What did you
good
think?
Foley.
Yeah. There you go. What did you think of the UI? Because especially these games, and you were playing this on a controller,
Yes, sir.
and I was playing this on mouse and keyboard. And you know, this is generally a game that you would play on mouse and keyboard. So
Yes, and I definitely think it would be better played on a mouse and keyboard. I think these kinds of games just lend themselves to that.
right,
But with that in mind, I think the controls felt pretty good on the controller.
mm-hmm.
Like it, the layout was good. The buttons made, you know, sense based on the
Mm-hmm.
context and what you were doing. I did have a little bit of a struggle trying to find a good place to put where the recording you know, thing is on the
Oh,
screen, because it is kind of dense. There's a lot
I
of
see. Yeah,
you need all the real estate on your
yeah,
screen for things.
yeah,
So if you're recording yourself on Twitch and you have the little bar up, it's not great. But
right.
I ultimately found a place to put it, and it wasn't too much in the way. So
Yeah, and I think they did something similar to what was it, the Halo Wars,
yeah,
where the world or your map is in it has like hex grids that you kind of, I guess, on a controller you would just snap to those particular grids,
yes,
whereas on a mouse and keyboard I still had the hex designs, but it was you know, I could see where that made sense for a controller, and they were just like, okay, we'll map it that way. So it was cool, and I like that. Like I got to a point where I had to start exploring the rest of my world, and I liked how, you know, the tiles would just start to kind of plop into
yeah.
the scene as you progress through the world, and it was cool. And then like I just got obsessed with trying to fill out the world first versus like actually going and doing a like planting my flag in a new area, so to speak. So
Well,
so
you got to see what was available for before you pick something.
yeah, that's true. That's true. And there is a lot. I mean, I was surprised how big those worlds were, because like when you look at it, when you start off, it's, you know, you're like, oh, okay, this is not that big. And then as you keep moving, you're like, oh, okay, this actually gets pretty expansive. And yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see that. Cool.
There's a whole big world out there, Chris.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else you want to bring up about likes?
I think I'm fresh out.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm I am as well. So shall we?
Yes. Then, unfortunately, we must move forward into the things that we did not like.
Yeah.
You want to go first? Go hit me.
Sure. I thought, again, I think you and I have actually both this. There is so much to manage in this game.
Oh
And
boy.
honestly, I in my first hour, I was still playing the tutorial. I was
Ditto 100%.
Because I thought, I was like, okay, maybe it'll get, like, I'll be done by this point. And I wasn't. It just kept going. And again, lots of information, lots of things that you have to manage. And I was like, wow, this is, I don't know how, if you weren't a seasoned Civ person, how you could get really invested or lost in the sauce with the tutorial itself. And I didn't get a chance to try the real game. And there's also another a mode where it is like scenarios, which kind of reminded me of like Sim City and stuff like that.
Yes.
Where like the aliens and stuff like that would come and stuff like that. So I was curious to try that, but I was like, oh, let me just see if I can get through the tutorial, and I did not. So what about you, Tom?
I did not like that you have to like really plan ahead. There are a lot of these kinds of games where you can make boo-boos and it's fine. You can just kind of go around it. But because of the hex structure, because of certain things, there were times that like I placed a building and I placed a building right where I shouldn't have. And I didn't know that that's where I shouldn't have put it. And then I had to demolish it. Like I had no other choice.
Right.
Like if I want to progress through this tutorial, I have to undo a decision I make and redo it.
Yeah.
Which is I guess a valuable thing to learn, right? That your decisions matter.
Yeah.
But it's a frustrating thing to learn in the tutorial.
Right.
Or at least it should have been one of those things where like they warn you about it before you do it.
Yeah, as we've already played City Skylines, I'm a terrible city manager and city planner. So this gave me PTSD of that again. And so as I was building this out, I think I had the same issue where I put something where it shouldn't have been, and I had to like just basically create a new road or whatnot, completely out of the way. And yeah, like it's definitely for people that like to think 16 steps ahead, because you need to in this game. And I don't know, like when you demolish something, or it's like, I didn't feel like there was a good indicator, even though there's a lot of stuff going on in the UI, a good indicator of like when you're losing and gaining resources, or if there was like a penalty for your decision. I mean, but I guess overall it was still a fairly relaxed game. Maybe it was just the music that kept me relaxed, but yeah, I think that was one thing. The one other thing I was surprised about, I had trouble on my PC getting this game to start for the first time.
Oh,
not because of like any sort of like hardware issue or whatnot. I literally, there's a button on the, or not even a button, it's just like an indicator on the bottom of the menu screen, start menu screen, that says click here to start, but my mouse wasn't showing up. And I was just like feverishly clicking everywhere until like I thought thank goodness I didn't start my hour there. That would have been like 20 minutes of my hour right there. But I finally got it. I had to force close it, reopen it, and then eventually my mouse showed up and I was able to click it. But I was like, okay, why couldn't I use like even my space bar or like something else to like allow me to continue on into the menu? Yeah. So
strange, especially since, on the Xbox, right, without a mouse cursor.
Yeah.
You definitely can press buttons to move the game forward.
Yeah.
It was definitely an option.
Yeah. Yeah. What else did you not like about this game or enjoy?
So I don't like having to make so many decisions. I think I went over that. Yeah. You say that you weren't stressed out. I definitely felt stressed out. Like for a game that doesn't have any combat and doesn't have like invading forces or anything like that, there's no real like pressing concern. It's like a volcano erupts and you got to get all your villagers out of there or anything like that. At least not in the tutorial.
Yeah.
But because there's so much to learn and there's so many tooltips and so much, like I was just like getting exhausted. I was like, I was getting pretty stressed out, and then hitting walls like that, where it's like, well, I got to undo something I did 20 minutes ago
Yeah.
and rethink this whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I did not have fun with that. It ultimately led me to making this game feel to me a lot like work, which is not good. You know, I'm managing all these virtual people. I'm analyzing all these graphs, managing resources. Now, maybe that's something that sounds fun to you.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't stare at Excel all day.
Yeah. Maybe you want to be a city planner.
Yeah. I mean, if you do, this might be for you.
This might be for you. A city planner for people that are, which we forgot to tell the premise of this game. It is essentially your human civilization has been bunkered up a la Fallout or whatnot for some time. And now you are helping them repopulate the world and all that fun stuff. So there's a bunch of like ruins and stuff like that from, I guess there was like a battle or something. I didn't really get into that, but that essentially you're restarting civilization. So
yes, and you are finding all of these old pieces of tech,
right,
and advancing enough so that you can use them.
Yep. So one other thing I want to say, I was surprised about this is I had problems placing things where I wanted. And what I mean by that is, again, overall it worked fairly well. The UI and all that stuff. But there was a point where I had to build this is for like the iron ore and stuff like that. Like, so I had to place a building for that near a mountain. And I thought for the life of me that you could rotate said building, but you can't. So like, instead of being at the place I wanted it to, I had to go all the way around to another place and then build a road all the way to that other side of the mountain.
Oh,
so that was like a bit frustrating. Like, I was like, I looked at my key bindings and stuff like that. I didn't see anything, because you can manipulate the world. You can zoom in, zoom out, rotate the camera, all that kind of fun stuff. But for some reason, you couldn't manipulate the rotation of the actual building that you're placing, which was kind of frustrating.
Weird.
So, yeah. Anything else you want to bring up here about dislikes?
I think I'm pretty good, honestly.
Okay. All right.
It's a pretty simple game.
It is.
For better or worse.
Air quotes.
Yes.
It lulls you into a false sense of simplicity. That's
probably a more accurate way of putting it.
Yeah. Which I think is a good thing. I guess it gives you that idea that, hey, and again, this tutorial is very extensive. So if you never play these kind of games, then maybe this is something.
That's actually a pretty good point, Chris. This might be a very good entry point for someone who has not played a simulation game, because it really does really break it down into baby steps for you.
Yeah. So good on them. Good on them for that. Other thoughts here, Tom?
You mentioned it briefly, and I want to touch on it again. There are a number of scenarios that I wasn't able to try. The game also has a difficulty slider. And when I saw that, I went what would you make more difficult? Because there weren't any bad guys, right? It's not like normally when you think of a difficulty, it's like, oh, okay, the bad guys take more damage or deal more damage, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of or there's more bad guys.
Yeah.
But none of that would make sense here. So I don't know how the game could be harder on the harder difficulty.
Well, I don't know. When I was exploring the rest of the world, I thought there was like animals and stuff like that maybe they become more aggressive. The only other thing I could think of is that maybe resources are more limited. You have to spread things out more. And what else? I mean, maybe there are like weather, like actual weather things.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Or all your people become whiny teenage kids, and everything you do for them is not good enough.
You say that in jest, but it really could be that managing the satisfaction of your populace becomes that much harder.
Right.
because that is something you have to manage, a la The Sims, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is how happy and well fed and all that stuff your people are. So,
Yep. I will say though, How Long to Beat says this game takes about 15 to about 21 hours to beat this game. So that's a pretty substantial amount of playtime for this thing. And I get it. Like, again, we didn't even get past the tutorial, so it was a bit much. It was definitely a bit much there. And what else was there? Apparently this game has Xbox Cloud enablement. It has cloud saves, and so yeah, you could play this on the go. I mean, I guess this could be a game that you could play on the toilet. So
yeah, I think once you got through the tutorial and understood the game pretty well, I would think that you'd be set. Like, it's not, again, because it's not a you can pause the game, you can fast forward it, slow it down. Like, you could play this as quickly or as slowly as you want to play it. You know, you're not playing against other people.
No.
So
yeah. So Tom, are we keeping this game or casting it aside with the rest of civilization? But before we get to that, I have to say thank you so much to our new sponsor, CD Keys. So this is pretty cool. I'm really super excited that they're sponsoring us. You guys can get up to 90% off of best-selling video games. And hey, that Jedi Survivor, it's coming out soon.
I'm very excited.
Coming out soon. Get some nice discounts there, not only on PC, but all consoles as well. So give them a shot. You could check out our link down below on the episode description or on YouTube. So, check it out.
Hey.
Yeah, baton.
Get a game.
How about this game, though?
Oh, well, I tell you what, I got some other games I want to play, and this ain't one of them. There were a number of times when I was an early decision in this game made something else I wanted to do impossible. So I had to demolish buildings and try again. That is not fun. It's just not a good. If you're going to do that, I really, really think you need to warn your players.
Yeah.
You can't let your players make decisions they have, like, waste their time. Don't let me waste my time. I'll say that my time with this game did go by very quickly. It, like, the hour just really did speed by. Yeah. But at the end of it, like, did I have fun? No, I ended up more frustrated. I can't imagine going back to this. There are other simulation games that I had more fun with.
Sure.
So
fair enough. And for me, yes, while I say this game was more relaxing overall, like I think City Skylines stressed me out a bit more than this one, but this did still stress me out. It still stressed me out. And look, dealing with all those people and all their needs and stuff like that, I already have a family in real life that I barely have time to keep up with. So I'm out with this game. But hey, again, like we've said before, if this is your style of game, like you like to do these kind of simulations, check them out. If you like City Skylines, if you like those style of games, like, hey, this could be right up your alley. And it's not a big game, so give it a shot if you're interested.
Yeah. Especially if you have more than an hour, because you're going to need more than that to get through the tutorial.
Absolutely. So those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter at TC1H1D, or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And of course, if you're watching this on podcast, send a comment down below. We'll try to respond. And Tom, we are part of that QTB network. So if you like gaming podcasts and blog stuff, there's a lot of people writing for the QTB blog now. So be sure to check out Quit the Build at quitthebuild.com/network.
It's true. But before we leave, Chris.
Had to get it in there.
I really did. we need to know what we're going to play next week.
We do. And the surprise button is going to be helping us for this one. So here we go. Oh, okay. It is Phantom Abyss.
Nothing to do with Mario.
Not at all. But this is a game that I was kind of curious about, and I'm glad we're getting to try it. It is still in game preview, so our results may vary. But who knows?
To take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly. But we're going to be checking out Phantom Abyss next. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.